The sound of breaking glass. The glass shattered against the hardwood floor, 1,000 jagged stars scattering in the dim glow of the living room lamp. My hand trembled, the stem of the wine glass still clutched between my fingers, its bowl now a ruin at my feet. Sarah's name lingered on my lips, a bitter aftertaste to the scream I'd just unleashed. Her yoga mat, rolled neatly by the door, stared at me like an accusation. She wasn't home. She hadn't been home for hours. And the text I'd just seen on her phone, "Meet me at the studio. Can't stop thinking about you," burned into my retina like a brand. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight, cold against my thighs. The house was too quiet, the kind of quiet that hums with secrets. I'd always trusted Sarah. Her laugh, bright as summer, her touch, soft as the cashmere throw draped over the armrest, those were my anchors. But tonight, those anchors felt like chains. The text was from Lila, her yoga instructor. A woman. A friend, she'd said. But the words "can't stop thinking about you" didn't sound like friendship. They sounded like a theft. I replayed the last few months in my head, searching for cracks. Sarah's late-night classes, her flushed cheeks when she came home, the way she'd started locking her phone. I'd chalked it up to stress, her promotion at the law firm, the long hours, the way she'd collapse into bed, smelling faintly of lavender and sweat. But now, each memory twisted like a knife. Was she lingering at the studio? Was Lila's touch more than just a teacher's adjustment, her hands guiding Sarah's body into poses I'd never seen? I stood, pacing the room, the shards of glass crunching under my boots. The air smelled of spilled Merlot, sharp and sour. My reflection in the window looked like a stranger, hollow eyes, clenched jaw, a man unraveling. I wanted to call her, to demand answers, but my phone felt heavy in my pocket, like it might explode if I touched it. Instead, I grabbed her phone again, the screen still glowing with Lila's message. I scrolled up, my heart thudding. "You make me feel alive. When can I see you again? He doesn't need to know." Each word was a hammer, smashing the life we'd built. Sarah and I had been married for 7 years. 7 years of lazy Sunday mornings, of her teasing me about my terrible cooking, of her hand in mine during late-night walks by the river. I thought I knew her heart, every beat, every pause. But now, I wondered if I'd ever known her at all. Had she been lying every time she kissed me? Or was this new, a sudden fracture in her loyalty? I wanted to believe it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. But the texts were undeniable, a map of betrayal laid bare. The front door rattled, and my breath caught. Keys jingled, then stopped. A murmur of voices, low, urgent, seeped through the wood. Sarah's voice, soft but sharp, and another, huskier, unfamiliar. "Lila." My pulse roared in my ears. I stood frozen, the phone still in my hand, as the door swung open. Sarah stepped inside, her blonde hair loose, her yoga pants clinging to her legs. Behind her, Lila, tall and lean, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun, her eyes darting to the floor. They both froze when they saw me, the glass at my feet, the phone in my hand. Sarah's face paled, her lips parting as if to speak, but no words came. "Tom," she finally whispered, her voice cracking. What happened here?" I held up her phone, my hand shaking. "You tell me, Sarah." Her eyes widened, flicking to Lila, then back to me. Lila took a step forward, her hands raised like she was calming a wild animal. "Tom, let's just talk." "Don't," I snapped, my voice raw. "Don't you dare talk to me like you know me." Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't tell if they were guilt or fear. "Tom, please. It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I shouted, the sound echoing off the walls. "Because it looks like you've been lying to me, sneaking around with her." I jabbed a finger at Lila, who flinched but didn't back away. Sarah stepped closer, her hands reaching for me. I recoiled, the air between us thick with betrayal. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said, her voice breaking. It started as nothing. A connection. I was lost, Tom. Work was suffocating me, and you were so distant." "Distant?" My laugh was bitter, jagged. "I was here, Sarah. Every night. Waiting for you. While you were, what? falling in love with her. Lila's voice cut through, quiet but firm. It's not love, Tom. It's complicated. Complicated. I turned on her, my anger a living thing. You don't get to make excuses. You don't get to stand in my house and tell me it's complicated. Sarah sobbed, her hands covering her face. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I didn't want to hurt you. I was going to tell you tonight. I swear. Tonight. I laughed again, the sound hollow. After how long? Weeks? Months? She didn't answer, and that silence was worse than any confession. I looked at Lila, her calm demeanor infuriating. Why are you even here? I demanded. Lila met my gaze, her eyes steady but sad. Because she asked me to come. She wanted to be honest with you. Together. The words hit like a punch. Together. As if they were a unit, a team, and I was the outsider. I stumbled back, the room spinning. The life I'd known was crumbling, and I was standing in the rubble. Tom, Sarah said, her voice pleading. I still love you. I do. I got lost in something else. Something I didn't understand. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But the texts, the whispers, the way Lila stood so close to her, they were a wall I couldn't climb. Love doesn't do this, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Love doesn't break everything. The room fell silent, the only sound the faint drip of wine from the broken glass. Then, a new sound, a sharp, insistent banging on the door. We all froze, startled. Sarah's eyes darted to Lila, then to me, her face a mask of confusion. Who's that? I asked, my voice tight. I don't know, Sarah stammered. The banging grew louder, frantic. I crossed the room, my heart pounding, and yanked the door open. A man stood there, disheveled, his eyes wild. He was holding a crumpled photo, Sarah and Lila, their arms around each other, smiling at some event I didn't recognize. You're Tom? He asked, his voice shaking. I'm Mark. Lila's husband. The world tilted. Lila's husband. The pieces fell into place, a cascade of betrayal upon betrayal. Sarah's gasp behind me was a distant echo. Mark's eyes burned into mine, and I saw my own pain reflected there, shattered trust, a life undone. She didn't tell you either, did she? He said, his voice breaking. He held up the photo, his hand trembling. They've been lying to both of us. The room seemed to close in, the air thick with the weight of our shared ruin. Sarah and Lila stood silent, their secrets exposed, their faces pale. I looked at Mark, a stranger bound to me by betrayal, and realized the story wasn't over. It was just beginning.